31-27, and so the New Orleans Saints, with a victory here today, can clinch the NFC West.
Tim, I would expect to see an immediate reaction from the Saints bench because Sam Mills again told us last night, if Dallas wins, boy, we're really going to be pumped up. This game will really be a big one. So the Saints, I'm sure, are aware of the fact that game's over and Atlanta has lost, and so the NFC West Championship is in their hands right now if they can win it.
Rookie Mike Jones has come in at right defensive end for the Cardinals, replacing Patterson. Hebert, and that's incomplete. Well covered on the play. The receiver early. So it is second down. And E.S. Williams had the coverage, number 35, the outstanding rookie cornerback of the Phoenix Cardinals. Third down, make it third down now. They've just changed the marker. 3rd and 10 for the Saints from their own 45-yard line. Hilliard in the backfield with Hebert in the shotgun. Hebert, and intended for Martin, intercepted. Picked off by Dave Duerson on the deflection off the hands of Martin. Veteran Dave Duerson playing for the injured Tim McDonald. And the Cardinals come up with the first turnover.
Tim, we talked about why Bugle would be optimistic with this football team. He has a lot of outstanding young talent. He also has this guy, number 22, Dave Duerson, who's been on 2 World Championship teams, one with the Chicago Bears, and he also has a Super Bowl ring he wears from the New York Giants. But he's a heads-up football player, very intelligent ball player, and the kind of guy you can build a championship around. And Bobby Hebert knows he made a mistake.
Chris Chandler, the Cardinal quarterback, giving to Johnny Johnson on first down for a gain of about 3. Johnson, the second-year man from San Jose State. Chandler, who hasn't won as a starting. Early motion by the Saints, and that is complete. Ernie Jones, and Jones gets down to the 35-yard line of New Orleans. And it appeared to us that the Saints jumped. Frank Warren, the right defensive end, a 17-yard gain from Chandler to Jones. And offside is signaled against New Orleans.
Defense, penalty is declined, first down.
Take a look and see who jumps offside. Looks like everybody inside 73. It looks like Frank Warren might have jumped prematurely, but Chandler told us last night he wanted to be under center against the Saints because they will jump. He wanted to give them a good change of sound with his voice to help draw them offside. First series of plays, he got an easy 5 yards. First pass is completed.
Johnson, a good hold. Still going. First down, Cardinals to the 25-yard line. Sam Mills, the linebacker, made the stop.
Good work up front, Tim. The Cardinals have a big, strong, experienced offensive line. Joe Bugle's talking about building a championship base. You start right there. Willie Williams, starting at right tackle today, does a good job on Wayne Martin, clearing the hole there. And here comes Johnny Johnson right off his hip for a big gain. The Cardinals look very impressive, Tim.
Willie Williams started the season as a tight end, a backup, was a backup guard, made a couple of starts at left guard, and forced into action today with the flu problem of Tootie Robbins. Johnson nowhere to go, about a half yard on that play as the middle closes in on him, led by Vaughn Johnson and Ricky Jackson. And when you name those names, you're talking about some great linebackers led by this guy in the sack department.
Well, he leads the league right now at 16 sacks in third year in the Pro Bowl, but this team has 3 linebackers in the Pro Bowl as starters. Vaughn Johnson's the other guy on the inside, and then finally Sam Mills goes in as a starting linebacker in the Pro Bowl. The only guy, of course, who didn't make it was Ricky Jackson, and the 3 of these guys said Ricky should have made it because he had an outstanding year, best year ever.
Second and 10, no gain on that play. Cardinals at the 25. Again, early motion by the Saints, it appeared. Chandler gets the ball off as he's pulled down from behind by Swilling, but it looks like it'll be an offside again against the Saints.
I'm not sure what Chandler is doing, Tim, because Jim Wilkes, again, was a man who appeared to jump off sides prematurely. He's the nose tackle. He's right over the center's head, And you wouldn't normally see a guy like that jump. He's experienced, he's been around a long time, but he's having trouble staying on side.
5 yards. Repeat second down.
Primarily because he's listening to Chris Chandler's voice, and Chandler keeps changing the inflection of his voice, drawing him offside.
Talking about those linebackers of theirs, starting 3 of them. First time since the Pro Bowl began in 1970, as you said, the 3 from the same team were selected as starters. In 1976, the Steelers had Ham, Lambert, and Russell on the AFC team, and only Ham and Russell were starters. So quite a distinction for this outstanding group from New Orleans. On second down, Chandler, and it's incomplete. Intended down the right side for Ernie Jones, and the ball off the mark, and good coverage by the Saints, and a good pop on him in the end zone.
Now, Tim, Jim Wilkes almost jumped off sides again. I watched Chandler's cadence, number 94 in the center. Jumps, but he gets back. Whoa, holy smokes. He may have been offside again. I think he was in the neutral zone when the ball was snapped, but the Saints got away with it. Chandler's doing a pretty good job drawing that defensive line offside, primarily Jim Wilkes.
Well, it's third down and 5. Ball at the 20-yard line in New Orleans. Opening series for Phoenix. Chandler for Prohl. He's out of bounds. Ricky Prohl.
This might be replay, Tim, because if Milton Back, number 24, forced him out, it could be ruled a touchdown. But let's see whether or not they do replay it. But Ricky Prohl running a corner pattern. Now, he must catch the ball and have both feet down with the ball in control. All right, here's the catch. Now, the question is, could he have brought both feet inbounds had he not been pushed? Boy, that's awfully close. You know, the defensive back, Milton Mack, pushes him out of bounds, and there's a ruling here. Really, you have to consider, could he have brought both feet in without being pushed? I think in replay, people will reverse this call and give him a touchdown. I think he could have brought both feet in bounds, Tim. Cardinals are calling a timeout because he wanted reviewed.
Yeah, that's a good call. At least that's what he's apparently trying to get them to do down there. Miami and the Jets still tied in overtime. Remember, the winner in the playoffs. And the Bills and Detroit are in overtime.
Out of bounds on the field. No catch. The play is being reviewed.
Now, part of the question here as they review it is that Prohl catches the ball. Now, once he's caught the ball, of course, the defensive back is allowed to tackle him. And they've ruled it inconclusive, and it'll be an incomplete pass.
Could he have brought both feet in if he had not been pushed? There's one long stride. Now, that left foot's the key. Could he bring it down without being pushed? By golly, I think he could have. He was pushed out of bounds by the defensive back, and I really think it should be a Cardinal touchdown.
No-win situation for Mack, of course. As I was saying, once that ball's cut, he's going to try and tackle the guy and make him drop the ball.
Now, his reaction was the proper reaction as a defensive back, but as far as the receiver is concerned, he would have brought that left foot down had he not been pushed.
38-yard field goal try for Davis as things were ruled inconclusive by the replay booth. Davis, 20 of 29 on the season with a long of 52 this year. Jordan the holder. And it is good. So the Phoenix Cardinals taking the interception by Dave Duerson in for 3 points. Penalty for Mcafee, on first down to the 30-yard line, a gain of about 4. And the New York Jets have made it into the playoffs with a victory over Miami in overtime. A Raul Allegre field goal. Former New York Giant, a hero for the New York Jets, replacing the injured Pat Leahy for the game this week against Miami, and Allegre an instant hero. Allegre had sent the game into overtime with a field goal, only 2 seconds on the clock in regulation time. So the Jets are in, the Dolphins are out. Mcafee trying to get wide, turns the corner and has a first down. Michael Zordich steered him out. rookie from Mississippi College. They've got a real fine here, Irv.
Boy, no doubt about it, Tim. And really, when he came up, he was kind of raw and green and needed a lot of time to develop. So they had him in training camp, let him go, and then brought him back and wanted to put him on the developmental squad. But then with all the injuries they had to their running back, primarily Dalton Hilliard, they brought him up. And he's been a pleasant surprise. Has 4.3 speed, and as a breakaway threat, averaging over 4 yards a carry, 4.6 yards a carry. So he's been a pleasant surprise.
Buford Jordan, the fullback, picks up close to 5 over the 40-yard line, running straight ahead.
You always see this, Tim, when a team plays a 3-man line, as the Cardinals do, with they call the bubble over the offensive guard. So Sidney Coleman and Eric Hill, the 2 linebackers there, will get a lot of work with the teams running straight ahead from the I formation. So what the Cardinals are trying to do when they see that is to have those inside linebackers step up, shut those holes down, and try to win first down if they can.
Ex-Saint Robert Massey has come in on the right corner for Lorenzo Lynch on second down, and Hebert escapes the rush, and a good diving play by the linebacker Freddie Joe Nunn to knock down the pass intended for the tight end Tice.
You talk about outstanding linebackers. That guy right there, number 50, Freddie Joe Nunn's a pretty good one. Ken Harvey, 56, is also an outstanding linebacker. So the Cardinals getting good pressure up front, flushing Hebert out of the pocket. Now, when Bobby starts to scramble here, finds what he thinks is an open receiver, and Freddie Joe Nunn just makes an outstanding play. Lays out and bats that ball away. Looks like a defensive back on that play.
Leaves third down along 5 for New Orleans at their own 40. Martin in motion. Deep downfield, overthrown, intended for Quinn Early, a Plan B acquisition from San Diego out of the University of Iowa. So the Saints will have to punt.
Hey, Tim, this is outstanding coverage, though, by number 40, Robert Massey, who at one time played for the Saints. He knows these receivers pretty well, and he's all over the receiver like a blanket here. He didn't have a chance at all, but I think Hebert's going to have trouble throwing the ball deep. He told us last night because of his shoulder problem, his right shoulder, when he throws over 30 yards, he feels a little sting in there.
Jackson is the deep man back to receive the punt from Tommy Barnhart, standing at his 21-yard line, 26-yard line. Barnhart hits from the 31. Jackson from the 12. Dropped at the 16-yard line. Open field tackle by Frank Wainwright. And so Phoenix will start deep in their own end when we return. Phoenix, Arizona, Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe. And it is first down for the Cardinals at the 15-yard line. They lead 3-0. Johnson on first down gets about 2 into the middle, where Johnson and Mills, Von Johnson and Sam Mills, are waiting for him.
It feels a little soggy today, Tim, and the grass is unusually high because they've had a lot of rain here this week in the Phoenix area, and they wanted to cut the grass on Friday, couldn't get on the field because it was so soggy, so it is pretty soft. So the Saints today, particularly their running backs, are wearing extra long cleats to be able to stand up on that muddy surface.
They don't get to do that too often around the NFL anymore.
Now, particularly for a team that plays in the dome, too, right? They don't play on mud very often.
Second and 8 for the Cardinals. Willing appeared to jump. Chandler continues to do something with his count that's bothering the aggressive defenders of the Saints.
Tim, we ought to look at Chandler very closely because, again, the swelling of veteran defensive player. Jim Wilkes, a veteran defensive player who's been called off on what? Number 56, Pat Swilling jumps off. He's in a 3-point stance. I can't believe it's just Chandler's voice pulling those people offside. There must be something going on in the interior line. Maybe Bill Lewis, the center, is doing something with the ball to pull him offside.
Swilling leading the NFL with 16 sacks, as we said earlier, on his way to the Pro Bowl. He got that word on Wednesday. And he also got word that he is now a new daddy. His wife Robin giving birth to their first child, Patrick Travis Swilling Jr. at Humana Hospital. Congratulations to them. Play action, Chandler rolling and lays it out to a wide open Jordan. First down, Cardinals to the 42-yard line. 18 yards on it.
Tim, this play goes because Willing, when everything goes away, follows the fake of the pass. His rule, for the most part, when both backs go away, chase. Now Chandler keeps the ball, does a good job of hiding it. Swilling had no idea he had it on his hip. This is a little bootleg. He rolls out here. Swilling runs past him, and here's the receiver, Jordan, wide open for an easy completion. Good play action by Chandler. He's a magician with that ball, isn't he?
Yeah, we talked to him about that, and he said he had good coaching in college at the University of Washington, and that Jerry Rome has also encouraged him and worked with him even further here with the Cardinals, and he likes to consider himself a good ball handler. Johnson gets about 4 or 5. Chandler says, you know, if I can get an extra second by making a good fake, I'm happy to have it. Here's a guy who's been sacked all over the place when he was at Tampa Bay, and 5 sacks last week against Denver.
It looked like a different player altogether against Denver, but Johnny Johnson, the big running back for the Cardinals, had a 1,000-yard year last year, went to the Pro Bowl, held out of training camp this year, and came back and really wasn't quite as effective as he was a year ago. Had an arch injury that slowed him down, and Bugle is just hoping that number 39 can report to camp on time this year, this coming season, and start from scratch and get that running game back on track.
22 yards and 5 carries for Johnson. Johnson this time is dropped right at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Here in Tempe, Arizona, final week of the regular season in the NFL. The New Orleans Saints with an opportunity to host the first playoff game next week against Atlanta with a victory here this afternoon. Atlanta losing earlier to Dallas. Tim Ryan and Irv Cross here at Sun Devil Stadium. And 4:14 remains in the first quarter.
Tim, I think the Saints are experiencing something here they didn't quite expect to see. They saw the Cardinals on tape, and they knew they were a pretty good football team and pretty aggressive, even though their record doesn't indicate that. Now they're finding out that this Cardinal team, even though they've lost 11 games, plays hard. They're going to have to raise their effort here a little bit on the Saints side.
6 defenders in the secondary. Chandler flush. Takes a tough hit. Got back to the line of scrimmage. And it was Benny Thompson, who's on his way to the Pro Bowl as a special teamer, who put the crack on Chandler.
Well, Chandler's a pretty good runner, but he runs into lots of trouble here when Benny Thompson shows up. Again, Chandler trying to get set up here, can't find anybody, so he's flushed out of the pocket. Here comes number 37, but a pretty good hit. Sam Mills also getting the assist there.
Rich Camarillo, the other Phoenix Pro Bowler, will be punting it, standing at his 32-yard line. Joe Kennedy back at the 10 of New Orleans. Camarillo averaging 45.3 yards on 73 punts this season.
Well, he's going to the Pro Bowl too, Tim. He's been very effective as a punter.
That ball is, yes, it's going to be down at the 1.
That's what I meant.
Great effort. Ken Harvey, the linebacker, number 56, nailing it at the 1, a 52-yard punt.
Camarillo, the punter for the Cardinals, is going to the Pro Bowl representing the Cardinals, but he missed practice this week because late in the week he had to go to California to attend his grandfather's funeral. And he wanted to get back and visit with his friends and family, and he did that and just got back in time for the game today. But what an outstanding kicker he is, Tim.
His grandfather was 100 years old. Rosendo Camarillo died on Tuesday. But he has left the Saints here, has Rich Camarillo at the 1-yard line. First down. Kennedy very close to the goal line. The Cardinals say they got 2 points.
The Cardinals do have 2 points. I don't think he got out of there, Tim.
Lynch and Duerson coming up from the secondary. Let's see where they spot the ball. It's outside the goal line.
Here comes Finnery. Now he has to cross the goal line, get out of the end zone, hit there first while the first man, Craig Pedersen, makes contact. Here comes Duerson in the end zone. He's down. That's 2 points. The Cardinals have scored. The Cardinals scored 2 points. He's in the end zone. Clearly, this will be replayed as well, too. He's clearly in the end zone. It's a 2-point play for the Cardinals. See where the ball is. His shoulder is certainly in the end zone. There's a ball in the end. Certainly, yeah. He's down. It's 2 points for the Cardinals.
They got the playoff. Hebert out on the right side to Turner, Floyd Turner, for what appears to be a Saints first down, and they got a real break there.
What a bad spot, Tim. Again, he has to get out of the end zone. Now, here comes number 22, Finnery. That big white stripe, that's the goal line. He's hit bang right there. and he's still in the end zone as he comes down. Now, they might have ruled that his forward progress crossed the goal line.
But even if they did, from that angle, I think you'd wind up with one of these inconclusives. But from that angle, it looked like he only got the ball out to the goal line itself, not over it. Hilliard on first down. But I think that would have turned out to be an inconclusive replay from the angle we just saw there. It'd be hard to know whether he had the ball over the goal line with forward progress or not.
Well, the officials have a much better view, Tim, on the field on a play like that. And you and I discussed many times instant replay and how effective it is. But the head linesman is right down on the field, and the line judge, right on the line of scrimmage, can see where the ball penetrated. And perhaps through their line of sight on the field, they saw the ball actually enter the field of play when it was pushed back.
I'd go with those guys every time.
Yes, so would I.
Second down and 7. Jordan, big hole for Buford Jordan. All the way out to the 43-yard line. And here's a guy that's been on and off this roster over the years. In his 6th year out of McNeese State. Came out of the USFL originally. And getting a chance now as a regular once more because of the suspension to Craig Hayward.
Yeah, well, Hayward's out, and here comes Buford Jordan, number 23, over his right guard. Larry Williams does a pretty good job up front clearing Sidney Coleman out of there, and Jordan demonstrates tremendous power coming upfield before he's finally brought down. But that's a pretty impressive run.
24 yards for Jordan. He's been one of those I'll-do-anything coach for you kind of guys, and been a special teamer, a backup fullback, a sometime starter, and a big run there. They come out from their 1-yard line as the quarter winds down. Hilliard to make it Hilliard, yes indeed, to the 50-yard line as time runs out. That's the end of the first quarter with the score, Phoenix 3, New Orleans nothing. Brian and Irv Cross starting the second period here as the sun has come out this afternoon after a kind of a gray, dull day this morning. Cool temperatures in Phoenix. Jim Mora knowing now that Atlanta losing to Dallas sets up the opportunity for the Saints to clinch the NFC West today. Second down and 3. Mcafee is dropped by Duerson deep behind the line of scrimmage, nearly 2 yards.
Outstanding play by Duerson. He's a guy filling in for Tim McDonald, who also made the Pro Bowl for the Cardinals, but he's out with an injury and, of course, won't be able to play in the Pro Bowl game. But this guy, number 22, Dave Duerson, comes in with a lot of experience. So you see him make this playoff tackle. Here he comes right between the hole, right in the hole there, making a hit for about a 2-yard loss.
They want him back next year, and they told him that. 4 wide receivers.
He'd like to come back, too. Sorry, sir. He'd like to come back. He said, I don't want to keep changing addresses.
Third down and 4. And it's dropped. The ball was there for Wesley Carroll, the rookie from Miami, and he dropped the ball. Coverage by Lorenzo Lynch, who they've got a hand inside it.
Terrific coverage by Massey, Tim. One of the problems you're concerned about when you're a cornerback wide like this is take away the inside, because a quick post like this is a very dangerous pass. Wesley Carroll thought he was open momentarily, but Massey had enough closing speed to come across inside of him and knock the ball away. Outstanding play.
Massey, the former Saint, was pumped up to meet his old mates today. Barnhart into punt. Jackson at the 10. Good punt by Barnhart. Comes down about the 4-yard line, and the Saints are going to nail it down there at the 3-yard line. We'll be right back. We're back at Sun Devil Stadium. The ball down at the 3-yard line. An outstanding punt by Barnhart to nearly the same spot as Rich Camarillo. It might be a little soft down there, helping the punter as well once that ball hits Urbison bouncing through.
Well, that could be, Tim. We have a punter's duel right now. These guys are firing away here.
Well, those were two dandies, that's for sure. So the Cardinals now start from their 3. Saints have to start from their 1. Chandler flushed out and slips down on the greasy turf over the 5-yard line. Dallas defeating Atlanta earlier got a great day from Emmitt Smith. He had 160 yards on 32 carries. And that clinched the rushing title for the year. Barry Sanders, not a shabby day, 108 yards. And Detroit's win over Buffalo finished second at 15:48. And in this game, Pat Swilling, you're predicting, and he's going to add to this total before the day is out.
Yeah, I thought he'd have a big day today, primarily because Willie Williams is playing at right tackle for the Cardinals today and hasn't had much work there, and I thought that they would try to give Williams help on Jackson, and then Swilling will be singled up. Hasn't happened yet.
Johnny Johnson gets about 2.5. Out the right side. He's hit by the nose tackle Wilkes and the linebacker Mills.
Well, even though he's not making sacks, he's making tackles. Watch Pat Swilling, number 56, pursuit. He closes so well. Now here he's chasing right now, a running play, coming down the line, take a good pursuit angle. Actually, never really makes the tackles, and they're assisting on the play. I didn't see him make a tackle, did you? Okay.
No, I'm sure we'll find a better example of what he's doing today.
We'll wait for the sack.
3rd and 5. That play was on the other side from Swilling. 3rd and 5. Chandler standing just outside the end zone. Connects. Has a first down. Ernie Jones. Jones with 58 catches coming into the game. 917 yards. Comes up with a first downer there.
We saw Jones make a real big play last week in Denver. But this time, in order to get the ball away, they have to have good pass protection. Now, number 56, Swilling, coming on the pass rush, is tied up by Louis Sharp, who does a pretty good job in pass protection. They're allowing Chandler to step up in the pocket. Now, Ernie Jones, Tim, is one of these receivers who could be a great receiver. Catches the ball well and runs well with it extremely well once he makes the catch.
Milton Mack had the coverage and made the tackle. First down from the 15. Chandler rolling on this one. He takes it upfield and takes another tough hit. This time from Frank Warren, number 73, and then Ricky Jackson finishing him off.
I'm sure Chandler would rather throw the ball than run, but he is an effective runner. I remember a game last year in New Orleans where he was quarterbacking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Saints in the Dome, and he took off with a scramble around the 20-yard line, hit the goal line, was hit, and spun head over heels. Knocked himself out of the game that day, but I don't think he likes running against that Saint defense.
Chandler 3 of 5 passing so far. Second down and a long 4. Whoops. Sack. Loose ball. Saints have it. 10-yard line of Phoenix. Vaughn Johnson came up with a loose ball, and it was Swilling who made the hit on Chandler.
Well, this is the hit. We knew it was going to happen, Tim, because you can't double team right across the board. Now, Swilling is in a sprinter stance. Here he takes on the guard, Vernon Smith, breaks his block, and boom, there he is, makes a tackle, and the ball is forced out of there. It's a big turnover for the Saints. They've been playing this way all year long. Their defense has set up scoring opportunities for their offense, and you just cannot block those linebackers all day long without somebody breaking free.
Chandler got up very slowly, having taken the weight of Les Miller, number 69, who was the second man to arrive. He's a 285-pounder, and you can see he's favoring his shoulder or his arm. First down, New Orleans at the 10-yard line of Phoenix. Jordan in motion. Mcafee. Mcafee is buried by number 94, Jeff Faulkner. Maybe a half yard at the most. Cardinals will have to warm up Stan Gelbaugh here as they are attending to Chandler on the bench. Gelbaugh, one of several quarterbacks to get an opportunity here with the loss of Tim Rosenbaugh before the season began. And then Gelbaugh surrendering to Chandler last week. Chandler getting the start against Denver.
Gelbaugh's been around. He's won 8 teams in the National Football League and played in the World League last year for the London Monarchs. Won that championship over there.
Second down, a long 9. Hilliard picks his way to about the 6. He and Hebert nearly collided on the handoff. Michael Zordich slow to get up for the Cardinals in the Phoenix secondary. Chandler getting some ice on the elbow. I don't think he'll be in the next series.
Yeah, when you see a quarterback with any kind of an ice pack or any other sort of a wrap on his throwing arm, that's serious.
There's Michael Zordich. He came into the game with a sore ankle, and it looks like maybe he's aggravated it. He'll be back at Sun Devil Stadium in a moment.
Summary is sponsored by Bud Dry.
Well, the Falcons lost to the Dallas Cowboys. If the Saints win, they'll clinch their first ever division title. The Jets made it in as the last wild card in the AFC, beating Miami. And the Bears must now win Monday night to clinch the NFC Central, because Detroit, a winner today, finished their season at 12-4. And the Saints on the doorstep here, third down at the 5-yard line. Hebert set. Ken Harvey. A 5-yard loss, and fourth down upcoming.
Great play by Ken Harvey, but Hebert couldn't hit Eric Martin. 84 was the man he wanted. Couldn't find him open because of great coverage in the secondary, and Harvey comes from the backside for a sack. Now, he has 9 sacks in the year. That was his 9th one, and he's played well all year at outside linebacker.
Morton Anderson, a 27-yard field goal try. And he has tied up the football game. 9:26 still to play in the first half. At Sun Devil Stadium, we're tied at 3. No, in this part of Arizona for the runners on Santa Slate, he found another way to come in to Sun Devil Stadium today, coming in a parachute. And look, he's greeted by the cheerleaders out there at that time of year. Number 1.
That was a pretty impressive entrance, but I just wonder, where's Rudolph?
Anthony Edwards returning the kickoff, gets away from Thompson and gets out to the 22-yard line. Good effort by Edwards. Bensie Glenn made the tackle for the Saints. Well, next Saturday, we've got a special event for you here, NCAA women's basketball. Penn State against Tennessee. Pat Summitt's outstanding volunteer team. Iowa and Vanderbilt. All starts at Saturday, 1:30 Eastern Time. And then prime time, the same night, 9 p.m., the Blockbuster Bowl. Defending national champions Colorado against Alabama. What a day on CBS Sports. Stan Gelbach came in at quarterback and fumbles the ball on first down on the exchange from center Bill Lewis, and the Saints have it. Sam Mills. Chandler coughed it up when he was hit by Swilling and had to leave with an injury as a result of the hit by Swilling and Les Miller. And now Gelbach, on an exchange from center Bill Lewis, turns it over again.
You rarely see that, Tim, because Bill Lewis is an outstanding center, but he broke the thumb on his right hand. He normally centers with his right hand. He switched to his left hand. He's got a cast on his right hand, and apparently he and Gelbach just didn't hook up on that exchange. They're going to go over and work on it right now, but that's an easy turnover for the Saints. Yeah, they're working on it now to try to get it right.
So now New Orleans at the 22-yard line and a first down. They're tied at 3. Hebert, 3 of 9 passing so far. Tice in motion. Gets some time and does not deliver the ball. There's a flag down, maybe a late hit intended for Eric Martin. Incomplete, and Hebert hit after he released the ball. That may be a roughing the quarterback penalty.
Yeah, it looks like the preliminary signal by the referee was roughing the passer, Tim, and Bob McAfee, the referee, is going to go ahead and march it off right now.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, 50 defense, half the distance, first down.
Bob McAfee calls exactly that.
You call him number 50, Freddie Joe. Now the ball's away. Now there's a hit, low and in the back, and the ball was well away before Freddie Joe Nunn came in to make the hit. So roughing the passer on the Cardinals, and the Saints pick up more easy yardage. Fortunately, Hebert got up and seemed to be all right.
So it's first down from the 11-yard line. Dalton Hilliard to about the 7. He's met there by Duerson and Zordich, the safeties.
Hilliard's been quite a story for the Saints this year, too, Tim. He's been hit with a variety of injuries. You know, a couple of years ago, how effective he was for the Saints, how he could cut and dart and make big plays for them. Well, he's been hammered with injuries this year. He's had a knee problem, a hip pointed that was very severe. He's got a rib problem right now he's still wrestling with, but he's one of these backs that once he hits the hole can change direction very well. He's not a straight-ahead sprinter, but he's a darting kind of a back. He's very effective at offense.
Second down, about 5. They can get a first down at the 1-yard line. Hilliard again to about the 3-yard line.
When you get down here, Tim, inside the 5-yard line, it's tough territory. Most coaches refer to this as being tough territory, and you give plays like this to your offensive line. Stan Brock, the right tackle, is the primary man responsible for leading Hilliard through that hole, working against Jeff Faulkner. So, again, a play like this inside the 5-yard line in tough territory belongs first to your offensive line. They have to move those red shirts back.
Craig Patterson made the last tackle. Now he'll be facing 3 tight ends, Brenner, Tyson, Wainwright. Hilliard is hit right at the line of scrimmage. A good tackle by the linebacker Sidney Coleman, and he will be close to a first down. And they'll probably bring in the 6. Yes, they're going to make a measurement here. And where they've spotted it, it would appear he's short of the first down by about a half a yard.
It's a pretty good play on Coleman's part, though, Tim. When both backs go away, when you're either the backside linebacker on the outside or the inside linebacker, you step towards that flow, and that's what he did. Stepped right into the hole, came up with a big play.
So it'll be 4th down. Hebert signaling over what they needed to Carl Smith and Jim Mora, and they're going to go for it.
Traditionally down here, you call something offensively called wedge blocking, because you expect some kind of a defense where the defensive lineman will pinch inside and shut all the inside lanes off. The offensive lineman will close down, form a wedge, and drive forward to try to get that easy yardage. Quarterback sneak will be your first option.
304-pound Chris Williams has come into the lineup defensively. Hilliard takes it outside and battles his way into the end zone. And E.S. Williams could not prevent him from pushing him over the goal line, and the Saints have scored the game's first touchdown. A 2-yard run by Dalton Hilliard.
Well-blocked play again up front. That front we talked about with the Cardinals is pitching inside. Watch those red shirts. The helmets come inside the gaps, trying to seal off the lanes. And Hilliard wants to go off tackle, can't find it there, and just through his own natural running instinct, finds daylight outside for the touchdown.
Hilliard dividing the running back time so far in the game with Finnerty and Mcafee, but they stayed with Hilliard once they got down inside the 10. Anderson to the point after. And the New Orleans Saints, taking advantage of the fumble by Gelbaugh, taking a 10-3 lead. Bobby Hebert on the sidelines of the Saints as the New Orleans team has just gone in with the first touchdown of the game, a 2-yard run by Dalton Hilliard. If the Saints win here today, Atlanta will be at the New Orleans Saints in the Superdome next week. The Dallas Cowboys, who were winners today over Atlanta, await the outcome of Monday night's game, the Bears in San Francisco. The Lions beat Buffalo earlier today to finish at 12-4. And a good kickoff deep by Morton Anderson will not be brought out by Anthony Edwards, so Phoenix will start from their 20-yard line. Stan Gelbaugh, who has been released 7 times in the National Football League, waived 7 times in 5 pro seasons. Irv told you he played in the World League this past year, and trying to make an impression here as Chandler and Gelbaugh would appear to be battling for what the Cardinals hope is a backup role to the injured Tim Rosenbach.
Yeah, Rosenbach, of course, out with that knee injury, is chomping at the bit and ready to come back.
Gelbaugh fumbled on his first play of the game when he came in. Good play action fake that time, and Gelbaugh sailing it downfield for Pearl. Double coverage. It looked like he just threw it away.
Gelbaugh had an opportunity to go ahead and run with that ball, but didn't do it. But anytime you get a break against the Saints defense, you have to take advantage of it, because look at this, Tim. They don't give up many points. They're second in the league there, giving up only 208 over the entire season. And you can see what they've done with yards per game and quarterback sacks and interceptions. They're just an awesome defense.
That's for sure. And, you know, Chandler was sacked 6 times by the Saints back in October when he was playing for Tampa Bay. And he says you go into that game expecting to be knocked around. Well, he was, and suffered an apparent arm or elbow injury. Knocked out of this game by a sack from Pat Swilling. Johnson on second down gets only about a yard.
Tim, Lance Smith, the right guard for the Cardinals, was responsible for making the key block on that play. And Wayne Martin just took him and shoved him right in the backfield. It's amazing. He took one step forward and shot back. What a play.
It leaves third down and 9 for the Cardinals from their own 21. They had to shuffle this offensive line all season long. Vernon Smith in there for Joe Wolf, who was the scheduled starter after they traded Kennard to New Orleans. And Gelbaugh hit as he released the ball and overthrows the target, Ernie Jones. Frank Warren had the rush on Gelbaugh.
The difference in the sequence of plays, Tim, when Chandler was in the game, the Cardinals were working with the second and short, third and short situations where they had an option of running or throwing, and they're fairly effective throwing the football. Gelbaugh in third and long, when that Saint defense knows you have to throw deep, you don't have much of a chance. You see the coverage out here right now. Brett Maxey does a good job on Ernie Jones.
Kennedy back for Camarillo's punt. Not a good punt from the Pro Bowler. Kennedy going to try and run it. And can't get turned upfield. Good pursuit by the Cardinal special teams, but he still gets it in good field position at the Saints 47, forced out by Connie Kauai. Fish and shrimp to get the CBS in there in the middle one, though. They blew that one. I looked at that, and even I thought that was spelled wrong. That should be Boudin. Good old French word for the Cajun sausage they make down there. But I'm anxious for the answer. What do you think you get?
I'm not sure. I have to wait till halftime to find out.
Okay, we're going to check out the banner after halftime. First down, Saints at the 46-yard line of New Orleans. They lead 10-3. Hebert on first down, and he's got a man open for another first. Eric Martin to the 41-yard line of Phoenix. Zordich, the safety, number 38, is playing out there on a gimpy ankle. A 12-yard gain. Coleman coming in to help. There's Martin.
He's their number one receiver, Tim. When Hebert wants to go for the big play, Eric Martin is the man. The Saints aren't reputed for having fast receivers, and they're not sprinter-type guys who have like 4.2, 4.3 speed, but Eric Martin is the kind of a guy who can make a deep play for you because he has great acceleration to the ball.
782 yards on 64 catches coming into the game, and a little early action there. 66, Larry Williams, the right guard.
False start, 66, offense, before the snap. 5 yards.
Williams is the fourth guard the Saints have used there because Steve Trapillo on injured reserve before the season began. They traded for Kennard from the Suns here, from the Phoenix Cardinals here for their cornerback Robert Massey. He got hurt. Then they went to Chris Port. He's got a bad ankle, in uniform today, and they're now down to Larry Williams, a free agent from Kansas City.
That right guard position has gotten so bad that the coaching staff won't refer to it as right guard. They call it right inside tackle.
Hilliard on first and 15 gets back 4 of the yards lost on the penalty, where Sidney Coleman straightens him up. Second and 11.
This is the time of the game where the Cardinals, we've seen them in the past, Tim, begin to fade a little bit. They play a great first half and then begin to wilt. I don't think it's the wilting comes about as a result of being tired or anything, but I think they've had, a club like New Orleans is the kind of a team that likes to run the ball and they gather momentum as the game progresses, and they're just beginning to get into full stride.
4 new substitutes defensively on this second and 11, and Swan is in there on the nose, the number 1 pick. Is getting better game by game. Hebert gets time and hits his man early. Win early for a gain of about 8. It'll leave third down and 2, maybe 3 yards. For a
Tim,
first.
Eric Swan, you'll see right here on the nose, is responsible for trying to put pressure inside, but Hilgenberg does a real good job. He gets his hands on him real fast and separates him. See how far out his arms are from his body? That's the key right there. If an offensive lineman can keep defensive linemen off their bodies, they can control them. And Eric Swan has to learn to knock those hands down, put his shoulder in there.
310-pounder, no college experience, played in semi-pro ball. Big story in the last year's draft. Third down, and it's closer to 4 yards they needed. Hebert, quick pass, complete. Wesley Carroll, and the rookie holds on against a tough hit from Duerson. And Carroll will need some attention. Credit to him, he held on to the ball.
Outstanding catch by Carroll, but looks like people went down at both ends in this pass, though, Tim. Once Carroll caught the ball, he was hit, but looks like Hebert also went down pretty heavily. Take a look at this. You know, Hebert going back from the shotgun, looking for Carroll all the way. Now, Duerson, 22, is reading Hebert's eyes. And wham, what a hit on Carroll. Carroll does a good job holding onto the ball. And Dave's a little stunned himself.
First down at the 26-yard line. Hebert made it unscathed, but Carroll took a real shot from Duerson. And he's still being attended to.
One of those plays, Tim, when a receiver comes across the middle of the defense, he's concentrating on catching the ball. He really doesn't see anything else except the ball coming into his arms. And when his arms are extended like that, his rib cage is exposed. And that's what I saw, that Duerson came in and gave him a real good shot right to the ribs. And that area is right now pretty tender.
Well, you saw the Dallas victory over Atlanta. That means Atlanta will be at the Superdome if the Saints win this game today. The Jets sending Miami south for the winter, and the Jets into the playoffs. Tampa Bay over in Indianapolis, and that has everything to do with draft choices and nothing else. We'll come back to that. Pittsburgh defeating Cleveland, that old rivalry. You know, they played hard today. Steelers prevailing by a touchdown, and Carroll is up and apparently all right. Now, Tampa Bay needs a win by... let's just review this here, because it's the Bengals in Indianapolis who are involved in these draft choices. And if Indianapolis had won that ball game, they were looking at the top 2 picks in the draft. Tampa Bay's victory, and if the Bengals win, Indianapolis will get the next 2. Well, Bengals are winners, we're told, in their game, so Indianapolis will receive those top 2 draft choices.
I wonder what they'll do with them.
It'll be interesting, won't it? Tight to tight end. And he gets about 4 yards before he's forced out by the linebacker, Nunn.
Well, Tight's had a big game last week against the Raiders, Tim, catching the ball a little bit more, but he's primarily a blocking tight end. Has done that very well over the years, but they're trying to work him into the offense more and more in the passing game. He's very effective. Blocking first, faking a block, and slipping out in the flat like he did that time. Has good hands, big, strong, experienced tight end. Been around 9 years.
Hebert's now hit his last 4 in a row. He has second down and 6 from the 23-yard line. Saints on top 10-3. And Hebert didn't like something he was looking at. We've reached the 2-minute warning as Hebert was happy to let it wind down. We'll be back at Sun Devil Stadium in a moment. The Colts, and whether or not they will get the top 2 picks in the draft. The L.A. Rams-Seattle game tonight is still a factor in that situation. Second down here at the 22-yard line, and Hilliard dropped the ball, and it looks like the Saints maintain possession. Hilliard was looking to throw the ball. They had a receiver down in the end zone, so the halfback option pass was smothered before Hilliard had a chance to unload, and he nearly copped up the ball.
It looked like they're trying to get the ball to Floyd Turner, number 88, coming deep across the middle of the defense, but Robert Massey, number 40, a former Saint player, didn't go. That looks like a fumble. Where's the Saints recovered?
It was, yeah.
It didn't go for the fake, and it was all over Turner, so the Saints had to eat it.
Duerson made the tackle on him, and fortunately for him, Richard Cooper recovered the loose ball for New Orleans, but they're back now at the 29. Third down and 12. bear with time, and a leaping catch by Turner. Floyd Turner, short of the first down, however, by nearly 5 yards.
Cardinals showed a defense with really 7 defensive backs on the field, and Floyd Turner on the outside was being covered on the corner. Watch number 88. He's running a hook pattern, trying to find an open spot here between the 2 defensive backs. Stops short. Makes the catch, but then here comes Lorenzo Wrench to make the stop for the Cardinals. But field goal.
39-yard try for Morton Anderson. He has a 27-yarder already today. Anderson, 24 of 31 this year, and it's good. Make it 25 of 32 for Morton Anderson. His second of the afternoon widens the Saints lead, 13-3. 21 seconds remaining in the first half of play here in Tempe. Well, Saturday night, 9 p.m. Anderson, who's been kicking it off, he says he's kicking the ball off better this year than ever in his career.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's working with a sports psychologist, but he had a problem, Tim. That kicking shoe, that black and white shoe, cost him about $5,000, and we'll go ahead and finish this story when we get a chance.
Centers and Edwards are the deep men, and Edwards will not bring it out. It's another boomer from Anderson.
Yeah. The shoe was a custom-made shoe, and it cost about $5,000 to have it fixed by the time they molded it. He traveled back and forth to Korea to have it done, but when he came here, the tongue of the shoe had been ripped out, and he panicked. What am I going to do to get my shoe fixed? So he found a local shoemaker here who sold the tongue back on and said, now, how much did it cost to have a $5,000 shoe tongue sold back in? He said, well, the guy charged me $5. Boy, but was he ever happy? He found somebody who could sew that tongue back in his shoe. Oh, boy.
I guess an extra $5 on top of the expense of that shoe doesn't hurt at all.
Not at all.
He's having a good year with it. And Gelbaugh will just let it count down here. 18 seconds left, and the Cardinals will head to the locker room down by 10. And like against Denver last week, still very much in this game against the favored team. And you know that the Cardinals won't be doing any quitting here in the final regular season game. So that's the end of the first half at Sun Devil Stadium with the score: New Orleans 13 and the Cardinals 3. And nonetheless, for the leading New Orleans Saints, 121-66. Morton Anderson, who has been nailing his kickoffs, especially in this direction.
He told us last night he's kicking off better now than he ever has in his life. We said, why is that? So he said, I don't know, I'm just kicking the ball well. But he is working with a sports psychologist who has helped him have a more positive attitude towards his kicking.
When he pounds this one, that's his best yet. Right into the seats at the end there.
He's really made a science of kicking the football, though, Tim. He records everything he does, how he felt on the kick, the result of the kick, and constantly working on his mechanics. Here comes Gelbaugh.
Dan Gelbaugh, we mentioned, has been waived 7 times in 5 pro seasons, and when the Bengals released him in August of 1990, he decided to pursue another line of work, took a job selling office equipment near his Bethesda, Maryland home. He had a marketing degree while playing quarterback at the University of Maryland, but then he went into the WLAF draft, played for the London Monarchs, won a championship, and getting another shot. Chandler, you can see that sore elbow. They put some ice on it when he came off the field, and it's not likely he'll be back. Gelbaugh from the 20-yard line. Anthony Thompson's first carry, and Thompson, number 34, picks up 10 yards and a little more.
This is the kind of an approach you expect from Joe Bugle. Tim, he likes to run the football. That's an old trap play with the backside guard, Vernon Smith and Louis Sharp, pull to the right to lead the play up through the hole, and Anthony Thompson simply followed that wave of blockers. That's a signal to me that Joe Bugle is telling the Saints, okay, it's the second half of this game. It's our last ball game of the year. We're going to make it as tough as possible.
Chris Chandler looks like he's going to try to get back in this thing, gently throwing the ball and getting a feel for whether or not that bruised elbow will allow him to return. First down from the 30. Thompson again, trying to get wide. He's got blockers, cuts it in nicely, and has close to another 10 yards. Vincey Glenn made the tackle. Thompson has had to play in the shadow of Johnny Johnson. Thompson was drafted number 1 last year out of Indiana. Johnson, number 6 out of San Jose State, but it was Johnson who got off to the better start, wound up having an excellent rookie year. Thompson hasn't been able to get the starting job back.
Well, that was a case again where Thompson held out of training camp. He signed late, Tim. He's a top pick as a rookie, and he came into training camp late. And once he got here, Johnny Johnson was already here and established, so he couldn't work himself into the lineup. It happens a lot to a lot of great college football players that coming into a pro camp for the very first time, hold out in contract negotiations, missed a lot of training camp, and never quite reached full stride that first year in the league. A lot of general managers and coaches think that if a rookie misses training camp, you might as well write him off for half the season because he just can't be effective.
And then Johnson this year was a holdout. He's hurt his performance as a result. Even though he's retained that starting role, has 640 yards coming into the game. We feel they've got 2 talented running backs for next year. They're just short of the first down with the measurement. About the length of a football, maybe a little bit more. Pull in motion behind Gelbaugh. And Thompson hit at the line. He may not have gotten it.
Boy, what a great play by Vaughn Johnson. My word, the inside linebacker reading the guard over his head, Burner Smith, when as soon as Smith blocked down, he came up and filled that hole. Take a look at this play. Number 53, you'll see him right over the left guard. As soon as that guard blocks down, watch him step up. Wham! No one there but Johnson and the ball carrier, and Johnson won. That's why it's in the Pro Bowl, folks.
No gain, so it's 3rd down. In fact, he probably lost the length of the football. They need a little more now on 3rd down. Good play action fake by Gelbaugh, trying to get it to Jordan, and it bounces around incomplete. The H-back Jordan deep downfield, but 2 defenders around him, and the ball batted away. Mark Lee got a hand on it.
Because Mark Lee is an experienced defensive back. He's one of the guys who's brought in late because the Saints had so many injuries in his secondary. But Lee played at Green Bay for a long time, was on the San Francisco 49ers roster before he was waived and picked up by the Saints. But he's one of these guys who's been around 12 years, very smart defensive back, and still has a lot of play left in him.
Playing for the injured Coy Cook as Milton Mack is playing for the injured Vince Buck. Bearcat signal by Finnerty at the 15-yard line. New Orleans will start from there. 13-3, New Orleans lead. Well, there's the answer, Irv. They had 2 banners they worked real hard on here. Apparently, if you mix up crawfish and boudin and shrimp creole, feed it to the swamp thing, you wind up with something called a sakahoochie.
Sakahoochie. I'd rather have Pat Swilling.
That may be who they have in mind.
Yeah. He's got lots of sakahoochie.
Those guys know how to sack. First down to the 14. Mcafee all the way out to the 33-yard line. Fred Mcafee, the rookie from Mississippi College. Zordich finally pulled him down. 19 on the game.
Well blocked, Tim. Again, Stan Brock, number 67, the right tackle, does a good job blocking down on Jeff Faulkner. Now, Fred Mcafee is one of these guys with deceptive speed. He was timed by the Saints, but they don't time their backs regularly, but in the combine with the scouts, he was timed in 4.3, so he does have breakaway speed. Very quick.
He was a kid who didn't really care about football until he got to high school. He was a track and field guy, played the snare drum, growing up in Philadelphia, Mississippi. That's the hometown of Marcus Dupree. Hebert runs out of time and out of the hands of Mcafee. Couldn't hold on. Football wasn't even my number 1 sport, said Mcafee. Not even close. I didn't even watch it on TV. But he was coaxed out to the football team by the coach, Neil Hitchcock, there in Philadelphia. Wound up leading Philadelphia to the state championship game.
Well, I'll tell you that the Saints are awfully happy to have him. They were able to keep him in training camp long enough to get him to the point where he can now compete at this level.
Second down and 10. Inside handoff. Hilliard stopped by the linebacker Eric Hill. So the Saints have done some shuffling here. Chris Port, who has a bad ankle, was scheduled to start at right guard today, but they went with Larry Williams because of the injury, but they said Port was available, and he's now in the ball game. Dombrowski joins him there at on that left side of the line. He's now moved out to the tackle spot. Dombrowski told us last night, well, if they want me to play there, that's okay. I've done it before. They've got Williams over on the left guard and Port in at right guard. So Cooper is the man sitting down. Hebert with a flag down, incomplete. Intended at the right side for early, and a holding signal against the Saints.
You know, Tim, I was going to say that the Saint offensive line might have some difficulty readjusting to all those changes up front. Now, Dombrowski going from guard to tackle, that's a big jump. Now, even though he's played tackle, he came up as a tackle and then moved inside as a guard. Different technique out there when you have a speed rusher at the tackle position to try to contain people. And sometimes you wind up doing what just happened. You hold.
So Barnhart will have to punt. Jackson back waiting for it, standing at the Phoenix 23-yard line. From the 19. Jackson, good open field tackle. Patrick Newman, wide receiver number 86, down there to make the drop. 10:55 remaining, third quarter. New Orleans by 10. Chandler is back.
The guy right there, Chris Chandler, who's Joe Bugle's kind of guy, an LTG.
Chandler coming back in with a bruised elbow. He had an ice pack on it when he suffered the injury back in the first half. Trying to throw on first down, gets a screen off to Jordan. And Jordan is dropped right at the line of scrimmage. A slow developing play that went nowhere. Good reaction by the Saints. Warren ranging out from the left defensive end, number 93.
Boy, you know, they haven't done much offensively. They had the ball. These are the last 6 possessions they've had the ball, and you can see what happened there. Punt, fumble, punt. Halftime, of course, and punt. And they just haven't gotten much yardage. As a matter of fact, in one drive, they lost 2 yards.
Duerson's only points, the Cardinals' only points off the interception by Duerson, leading to Davis's field goal. And that's been a problem for them all season long, having to go without Tim Rosenbaum and using 5 quarterbacks along the way. 2nd and 9. Good protection this time, and Chandler going deep for Kroll. Good coverage. It's going to be intercepted. Gene Atkins. At the 28-yard line of New Orleans.
Ricky Prohl, number 87, in full stride here, but Gene Atkins has good inside position, really leaning against him as he should as a defensive back. Take the ball away. He has every right to make that catch. As long as he's making a play for the ball and running in full stride as he was, comes up with a key interception. I think it's, again, Chandler trying to get that ball out there. Tim probably saw the result of his damaged elbow because he can throw that ball 60 yards fairly consistently. That one sort of tailed off on him because that arm's probably just a little stiff.
So Bobby Hebert takes over now for the Saints at quarterback with 8 of 16 passing stats on the day, and New Orleans with a first down at their own 28-yard line. Leading 13-3 here in the third, 9:56 remaining. A victory for the Saints, ensuring a home field hosting role against Atlanta next week. Mcafee gets a couple out the right side, maybe less. Let's call it about a 1-yard pickup for Mcafee. Good defensive response on the left side by the Cardinals. Faulkner, the defensive end, number 94, leading the way. Now they send in Taylor, and Faulkner comes out. Massey, the ex-Saint, comes into the secondary on the passing down, 2nd and 9.
This is what the Cardinals wanted, Tim. They wanted to get the Saints in the 2nd and long situation because they're so effective with play action passing on first down. Now they feel the defense is in control.
Great drop for Hebert. Deep sideline. Incomplete, out of bounds. Intended for Quinn Early. Massey had the coverage.
The whole theory with the Saint offensive philosophy simply is that play action pass on first down, fake run, then throw, but you have to be able to establish a running game first before that's effective. And if you can get that running game going, you can then go ahead and fake the run, draw the linebackers up, and throw short or intermediate passes behind them. But if you're a defensive team and you can stop them on first down, so they come up with 2nd and 8 or 9, then the defense can sit back and play their pass defense, their nickel and dime coverages, and dictate to the offense how the game should be played.
So 3rd down and 9. Just gets it away as he is dropped. A charge from Ken Harvey and Eric Swan.
You can see what happens, Tim, when you have 2nd and 9, 3rd and 9. The defense can lay its ears back and go ahead and take off. Now you can see Hebert in the pocket trying to influence the defense, but he doesn't because they know he has to throw the ball. Eric Swan, 98, just shoves him off. But the first guy to show is Ken Harvey, their outside linebacker, who forces Hebert to throw the ball before he wants to. The screen pass just didn't develop.
Good defensive series for Phoenix. Barnhart's punt, a low liner and a short one. Jackson, good open field tackle, prevented a better position. That's Thompson, Benny Thompson, getting Jackson, but there's a flag back at the line of scrimmage. Saints might have been a little early. A 39-yard punt from Barnhart. And he'll have to do it again from 5 back, unless the Cardinals decline. They may do. They're at their own 36 with a short punt from Barnhart. And they do decline it. Ineligible man downfield. So Phoenix will have the ball at their own 36-yard line. Down by 10. 8:56 remains in the 3rd quarter. New Orleans with the lead. Well, that man at the top of your screen with the black hat, that's Bob Wortman, the field judge, and you saw him just checking his clock there. He is retiring today. This is his last game after 27 years, 2 Super Bowls. In addition to that, he worked 4 Final Fours as an official in college basketball, and we wish him the very best in his retirement. He gave us an extra 10 seconds down there on the field so that we could make that tribute. We appreciate that opportunity.
That's great.
On first down, Chandler out to Randall Hill, well covered by the Saints, a gain of only a couple.
It's amazing, Tim. You know, the Hall of Fame in Canton does not have one official in the Hall of Fame. You've got the front office personnel. Of course, obviously you have players, but I think there's room for officials in the Canton Hall of Fame. And I hope the Hall of Fame people hear this and say, look, let's consider guys like Wortman, who spent so much of their lives and given so much to pro football, as officials and should be recognized as people inducted into the Hall of Fame. He's one guy who should be considered.
Bob Wortman. Farewell performance here in Tempe, Arizona today. 2nd down and 8 for the Cardinals. Kroll goes wide left. Chandler is sacked. Ricky Jackson, 2nd New Orleans sack. Jackson, the man who didn't make the Pro Bowl among his linebacking crew, the other 3 going to the Pro Bowl, and everybody agreeing that Jackson's had a Pro Bowl year, but you can't complain about Seth Joyner either. But watch Ricky.
Yeah, well, Morris said he's had the best year since he's been here as a Saint coach. Look at this drive, that tackle back. I told you Willie Williams would have trouble trying to contain him. That time really was Tootie Robbins in there, and Robbins coming off of the flu bug, trying to contain Jackson, couldn't do it. Jackson, by the way, Tim, by not being voted to the Pro Bowl, will lose a $50,000 bonus. Whew.
3rd down and 15 back at the 30-yard line. Chandler interception again. It's Atkins. Still going. Laterals. Thompson. Benny Thompson to the 12. Randall Hill finally got him there. Chandler threw into coverage that time, and it was very costly. Atkins with his 2nd interception.
Not a good throw at all, Tim, because he threw right into the teeth of the defense. It looked as though the Saints had some kind of a zone coverage over there with Atkins short and then Benny Thompson coming behind. You see the zone rotate right there. Chandler reading the strong side right really in the teeth of the zone. Look at all those white shirts. All right, so number 28, Gene Atkins comes up with the interception, and alertly pitches the ball back to Benny Thompson, who probably yelled at him right here, "Hey, Gene, throw it to me." Thompson picks it up on the lateral and takes the ball down inside the, on the 12-yard line. Good heads-up play by that secondary for New Orleans, and that's been a trouble spot for New Orleans. All the injuries they've had back there, they've had to kind of put patchwork people back there, but they've been very effective.
On first down, the pitch to Hilliard. Nowhere. Good surge by the Phoenix defensive line, led by Faulkner and Nunn.
Well, the one thing Phoenix has up front, though, Tim, is bulk. You know, it's got Jim Waller's about 275 pounds. Faulkner's over 300 pounds. Patterson is over 300 pounds, 317. As a matter of fact, he's so bulky, the team calls him Ugly Body. I mean, he's just one of these big, wide guys who does a good job on the run defense.
Well, they stopped the run on that first down, and it's 2nd and 10. Short drop by Hebert. He finds Eric Martin, and Martin battles inside the 5. Hard guy to bring down, and he just dragged Aeneas Williams with him down to the 4-yard line.
Well, Atkins has been pretty busy picking off passes. Picked off 2 today. He's got mud and grass all over his uniform. Reminds me of the kind of a player that John Madden would put on his all-Madden team. You know, the mud and the grass and everything else. He's over there now taking a drink of water and some juice and said, "Let's get ready. Let's get back out there again and pick off another one."
Third down, he can get a first down with a 1-yard gain just inside the 3. And they go to Jordan, and Jordan is going to get to the end zone. Touchdown. Buford Jordan, a 6-year man from McNeese State.
My word, that is power football. Everybody, anticipating again a run inside the 5-yard line. Simply a power play off tackle, off his right tackle. Number 23, Jordan, the ball carrier. Good surge by the offensive line. Everybody firing off, gets off in unison. Look at those red shirts go back. That's what you want. When you see that offensive line taking charge like that, you're driving the defense back, and Buford simply rolls off his right tackles back for the score.
Anderson for the point after. And it's good. So with 5:54 still left in the third, the Saints up now 20-3. At 5:54 remaining in the third quarter. New Orleans on top 20-3. And again, turnovers hurting the Cardinals. Second interception by Gene Atkins, leading to a 4-yard touchdown run by Buford Jordan. And the 20-3 Saints lead. A victory here today, and they will host Atlanta next week in the first round of the playoffs. Anderson's kickoff taken at the 4-yard line by Edwards. And he gets out to the 22. First bad hit by Anderson today.
There are a lot of Pro Bowl players on the field, but here's a guy who made it as a special teams player. Number 37, Benny Thompson. You'll see the kind of work he does on his kickoff. Gets down under kicks quickly, and he's usually the first guy down to make the tackle, as he does there. And he's going to the Pro Bowl. Take a look at the rest of the Pro Bowl that's playing in this game right now. The Saints, we know, have those linebackers going in. There they are right now. Swilling, Johnson, Mills, and Thompson, special teams for the Saints, and McDonald and Camarillo for the Cardinals.
Thompson, Anthony Thompson, on first down, gets about 4 yards out to the 25-yard line for the Cardinals. Chandler continues at quarterback despite a bruised elbow. Given up 2 interceptions since he returned to the game.
The one thing that surprised me about this Cardinal football team this year, Tim, has been the work of the offensive line. I saw them the first week of the season against the Rams, and they looked terrific. But since that time, the offensive line production has tailed off dramatically, and that's one of the big concerns Bugle has right now, to get the offensive line going so he can run the football effectively.
Thompson again nowhere. It'll leave third down and 6.
These are some of the thoughts that Bugle relayed to us in terms of what he wanted to do. The first thing is retool the offensive line. He came here with a big, strong, experienced offensive line, but they have not been that effective this year. Try to get a couple of veteran quarterbacks in here to back up whoever's going to be a starter, probably Rosenbaugh, and then also get another bevy of veteran players from different teams that come in to boost his team, like Dave Duerson. Duerson, they want to have come back badly because he's not only a great player, but has been on championship football teams.
Third down and 5. Chandler with a quick release and a diving grab by Pohl, and he should have a Cardinal first down at the 32. Atkins with the tackle.
Gene Atkins has really been busy. This guy, Ricky Prohl, is not fast, but a good possession-type receiver. Makes a good diving catch right there. He's done that consistently throughout the year, Tim. When they wanted the big play and there's pressure, Ricky Prohl is normally their primary target.
Flushed. Sandwiched by a pair of Saints. Mark Lee, and Lee wound up getting the worst of that. Chandler's on his feet.
But he gets hit from both sides, Tim. Mark Lee, 32, hits him, but number 91, Robert Pig Goff, also piles on. Watch this. Goff's there first, bang, in the back. And here comes 32 Lee on the bad arm. Chandler feels the effects of it.
Yeah, Lee looked like a second baseman there with Chandler sliding into him, and he might have been spiked, if you will, on the slide by the quarterback Chandler, who was within his rights, of course, to get into the slide position. He wound up paying the price anyway, and you can see he's hurting.
I tell you, the defensive backfield is one place the Saints cannot afford to have injuries. They've had people banged around back there all year long, but Chandler, who's coming off of a problem with his arm and trying to stay in the game, is still hanging in there. But here's Lee getting help from the training staff.
Mark Lee in the spot normally held by Toy Cook, who's gone for the year with a broken arm. Lee picked up on waivers from the 49ers. There you can see Chandler trying to get the elbow loose. He's in pain. Well, while they attend to Mark Lee, let's just take a look at our action next Saturday here on CBS. A terrific NCAA women.
Well, Lee's walking off, and that's a positive sign. So I guess right now it's okay as far as his legs and that sort of thing are concerned, but he's going to receive further attention on the sideline there.
Well, they go deeper into their secondary help with Stan Petrie, picked up recently on waivers from Kansas City. Now in at the right corner, number 45, a 3-year man out of TCU. Thompson stopped by the nose man Wilkes on that play, and not much of a gain, maybe a half a yard. They spot the ball at the 42-yard line, and they're going to measure. It's close enough to have a look.
I'll tell you, Tim, when you consider all the problems the Saints have had with injuries, particularly on defense and in that secondary, it's amazing that in the league stats coming into this ballgame, they were second in the league on pass defense. I mean, that's a phenomenal performance when you consider your secondary has been all banged up. So that's all attributed to that front seven, those 3 down linemen and those 4 outstanding linebackers.
Well, the Saints didn't think that the first down should have been marched off there, but they got the nose of the ball on the start of the chain, so it is first down Phoenix, and this is their best drive since their opening for the Cardinals. 6th play of the drive, now to 7. Randall Hill got away from Petrie and has a first down. Cardinals, and they're into New Orleans territory.
You knew it was going to happen. The Chandler fired that ball out there. You can see his right arm is still bothering him, but Petrie just came into the game for Mark Lee, and when he makes this throw to Randall Hill, watch what kind of reaction you get. I mean, his arm is really sore. The ball's out there, and ouch, that hurts. What happens? You throw the ball and you rotate your arm, Tim, so there's a lot of pressure on that elbow, and he's really feeling that pain. This is the kind of pressure he's faced today. He's been sacked a couple of times, hurried 7 times. You can see the result, 2 interceptions.
First down, Saints show blitz. Here they come, and quickly off to the hot receiver, but Chandler definitely having trouble delivering the ball. Jones, the intended receiver, had no chance at all as that one sailed up on him. I mean, you have to wonder here what the point is of leaving the guy in if he can't throw the ball.
You know, I was thinking the same thing, Tim. You know, it's great to be a tough guy and everything else, and he's a team leader when he's in there, but I'd rather have a healthy quarterback in there who can throw as opposed to having Chandler go in there and struggle the way he is. And if I'm a defensive back, right now I'm not too concerned about a deep pass, but I know he's going to have trouble putting it out there.
Mark Lee has returned to the lineup at left corner for the Saints, so that's good news for New Orleans fans. And Gelbaugh has got the baseball hat on, waiting for the call. Draw play. Thompson, nowhere to go. Maybe a yard. On Johnson there. Frank Warren made initial contact. Atkins coming up from safety.
Really, Tim, I really think that the Bugle ought to take Chandler out of the game. It's great for him to make this valiant effort to stay in there and be with his ball club, but I really think when it comes to throwing the football, he's probably more of a liability than an asset. Thank you very much. Get my balance sheet squared away. More of a liability than an asset.
You're the old stockbroker. You're
That's
supposed
right.
to have that stuff at your fingertips.
Yeah, can you believe it? I couldn't balance my books for crying out loud. Jeez.
Third down and 9. Good protection this time. He gets the ball off, takes a hit, delivers it on target, but a flag down behind the line. Randall Hill made the catch at the sideline for a first down to the New Orleans 32, and Chandler took another whack just as he released the ball.
Yeah, really, Tim, it's a very courageous performance on Chandler's part, but that pocket collapsed, and as he threw the ball, there must have been 3 white shirts all over him, including Pat Swilling, I think, who did most of the damage. And, boy, I tell you, watch this now again. Chandler hits Randall Hill on the sideline, but here comes number 56 right off the gut. And, you know, it's a tough day for him.
But it's a holding call against Phoenix. So the good effort by Chandler wiped out, and Chandler comes off and Gelbaugh comes in. That's like a fight trainer in the corner has got it's time to throw in the towel there. Get that guy out of there. Otherwise, you're going to get hurt. He's been hurt.
Yeah, well, this is third and 19. This is going to be a long pass, and there's no point in having Chandler in here to try to do it.
3 wide receivers spread across the field for the Cardinals. Gelbaugh goes to the screen. Centers. And well short of the first down. Picked up about 12 on the play. Got the ball to the 40-yard line of the New Orleans Saints, and that's the end of the third quarter. With the score, the New Orleans Saints 20 and the Phoenix Cardinals 3. Our coverage continues after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Gelbaugh for Hill. He's got it. First down. Cardinals. And they get the ball to the 27-yard line. Dan Petrie made the tackle. And Gelbaugh delivers to Randall Squirrel Hill. Picked up in a trade from Miami.
Pretty nice throw by Gelbaugh, Tim, in the face of a lot of pressure. Watch number 56 again to the right side of his screen. Swilling, the guy leading your charge with number 93. Looks like Wayne Martin is the guy who breaks through there and finally knocks him down, but Hill comes up with a key catch. Petrie couldn't prevent it.
So the Cardinals with a first down at the 27-yard line of New Orleans. Just underway in the fourth. Play action, and it's complete to Prohl. And Prohl will have another first down, and he's pulled down out of bounds. The crowd wanting a penalty there on Atkins.
Well, it looked like he grabbed his face mask, but he didn't. He grabbed the shoulder pad and pulled him down. Tim, you'll see it on the tackle. Prohl coming out on the outside. Number 28 takes a shot at him high, but grabs his shoulder pad. That's okay. And spins him around. That's a legal tackle. No problem. We used to say when I was coaching my defensive backs, when you get a receiver like that, bounce him off the ground. And Prohl was bounced legally.
First down from the 15. Cardinals threatening. First time in the game. Good protection for Gelbaugh, and it's intercepted. Off the hands of Prohl. And it's Atkins for the third time, and he's still going.
This could be a touchdown.
One man to beat, and it's Prohl, and he gets him. Atkins all the way interception. Well, a tough break for Gelbaugh there because the ball was just high enough. Kroll couldn't quite haul it in, and it went off his fingertips. There was Atkins, and Atkins, I thought he was just lying there out of exhaustion.
I think he might be.
Kroll was the guy who caught up with him.
Well, maybe Kroll was getting even. Remember the play before, Atkins bounced Kroll off the ground. And Kroll had a chance to tackle him and bounce Atkins. But again, this ball just gets away from Gelbaugh. It slows a little high, hips Kroll's fingertips and bounces up. Now here comes Atkins with a great shot going all the way. The basic rule here is when you intercept the ball, go to the near sideline, pick up your teammates. Now, really, if Atkins had put his head down and sprinted to the goal line, he may have had a chance of beating Kroll to the punch. But by looking back like that, slowed down, and Kroll was able to make the tackle.
Well, that's third intercept, ties the team record in interceptions in one game, and Atkins, it looked like he might have got his legs caught under him when he fell down, but it looks more like he's just suffering from a little exhaustion. That's a long run, and he's been a busy man out there today. Credit to Kroll. He ran a long way to catch up with him.
Didn't give up on him. That's a sign of the way the Bugle Cardinals play, really, Tim. They play right down to the last play. They play hard, lost a lot of games, but it hasn't been because of a lack of effort, and I guess the Cardinal fans think they've seen enough. But Atkins came in here with 2 interceptions and 3 today on the day. Now gives him 5 and puts him in pretty good shape among the leaders of interceptions in the National Football League.
Atkins up and apparently all right, heading to the bench under his own power. And the Saints, meanwhile, have a first down at the 20-yard line and a 20-3 lead. There were only 30,000 in attendance here today, and some of them are headed for the exit. Hebert just gets the ball off. Screen pass for Buford Jordan, well covered by the Cardinals. Harvey waiting there out on the right side, number 56. Sidney Coleman coming out from the inside.
Take a look at what's happened to the Cardinals since they've gotten here from St. Louis, Tim. In '88, they've had 4 straight losing seasons, and they're 2-14 in December. A losing streak now of at least 5 games, all in the last 4 years, and their average home attendance down from 59,000 to 43,600, and that's a big problem here, trying to get people in the stands.
Well, they get the wins, and they've got, we said at the beginning, reason for optimism with a lot of young talent. Hebert going for the corner, touchdown! Perfect strike to Floyd Turner. Beating Jay Taylor, number 27, with a fade to the corner.
Well thrown ball, Tim. Most teams have a rule when you throw that fade pattern and have the wide receiver line up inside the number, so the quarterback has what we call a box to throw the ball into. And all Hebert did was loft that ball into the corner of the end zone and allowed Turner to run under it. It's really a well-executed play. The defensive back doesn't have much of a chance because the ball is thrown over his head away from him. Easy touchdown.
10 of 20 on the day for Hebert, and the first touchdown pass. Following the interception by Atkins, his third of the day, and Anderson's point after widens the lead, 27-3. In Tempe, the Saints have widened the lead, and it looks like they're going to cruise now, 27-3. The touchdown pass from Hebert to Floyd Turner, and so it looks like they will indeed host the Atlanta Falcons next week at the Superdome. Dallas Cowboys await the outcome of tomorrow night's game, the Bears and 49ers, to see where they're headed. And the Saints have asked us to tell you fans watching in the New Orleans area, approximately 20,000 tickets to next week's game will be made available beginning tonight at 6 p.m. this evening. The Saints ticket office at the Superdome will open from 6 to 9 p.m. this evening to facilitate their fans, and Ticketmaster outlets will also be open this evening. So tickets are now available, or will be at 6 p.m. New Orleans time tonight. Edwards returning it all the way out to the 35-yard line. Good return by Anthony Edwards. Stopped by Quinn Early. Well, ahead after football on CBS. If you think we finished off Saddam Hussein, think again. Another Hussein is keeping him afloat, and this one is supposed to be our friend. 60 Minutes tonight. That's followed by Murder, She Wrote, And then the CBS Sunday movie Baby of the Bride, starring Ted Shackelford and Christy McNichol, all tonight on CBS. First down from the 35-yard line. Cardinals. Gelbaugh continues at quarterback. Gelbaugh, that's nearly picked out. Petrie got a hand on it. Couldn't quite bring it in. Intended receiver was Hill out the right side. Now here's a number that's going to come up that's going to shock you. I know it did you, Irv, because you can remember back this far.
Not 44 years, but I'll tell you what. I do remember when Don Coryell was head coach in St. Louis, and the Cardinals were competing for division championships then, but they have not yet won a playoff game in 44 years. That's phenomenal. Of course, the Saints haven't won one in 25 years, but they're going to get a shot next week.
Yep. Yeah, now that's not getting into the playoff. That's winning a playoff game.
Yeah, winning a playoff game.
Saints have yet to win a playoff game. Opportunity comes next week against Atlanta. Mills leaving the field. Well, he's not. He's over there talking to the officials. We've got an official.
Tim, you were talking earlier about ticket sales in the New Orleans area. Steve Walsh is warming up to come in here for the Saints, but the Ticketmaster numbers are also available for people interested in buying tickets to the game next week in New Orleans. In New Orleans, I can talk about a number here. I'll do it slowly. 522-5555. Outside of New Orleans, you call 800-683-1996. If you're in the Baton Rouge area, 336-5000. So I'll do it again. In New Orleans, if you're interested in calling Ticketmaster to buy tickets to the game next week, you call 522-5555. If you live outside of New Orleans, you call 800-683-1996. If you're in the Baton Rouge area, you call 336-5000. Those are Ticketmaster numbers to order tickets for next week's game at the Dome.
Saw some scores flashing by at the same time. Kansas City and the Raiders. Kansas City leading that game over L.A. And the winner of that game will host next week's playoff game against the loser. So they're going to meet again next week. If the Chiefs win, then they will be the host team against the Raiders. The Jets will be at Houston or Denver, depending on the results today. Denver game still underway. Houston, the loser yesterday. Larry Centers finds some running room on the pass from Gelbaugh and has a Cardinal first down out near midfield. Sam Mills made the stop. Centers, a second-year man from Stephen Austin, activated recently and getting involved, a number 5 pick a year ago.
The Saints, of course, will go ahead and play a prevent-type defense. You have 4 down linemen. Actually, you have 2 linemen down with 2 linebackers on the outside. Looks like a 4-man line they're running with either 5 or 6 defensive backs down. They have a 3-man front, and this is their deep prevent defense, anticipating some kind of a pass.
Gelbaugh. Centers again, gets about 4 on that play, hit right at the midfield stripe. Stan Petrie making the tackle. Gelbaugh, a new father, went home to visit his newborn baby after last week's game against Denver.
That's right. He was last week was a real big week for him because he lost his starting job as a quarterback here to Chandler going into the game against Denver, but had the baby at midweek and was anxious to go back to see his wife and Charlie lives outside of Washington, D.C. at Bethesda, Maryland. Hopped on a plane, went out to see his new baby, and had to get right back here for this game. Another intercept.
Throws an intercept, and this is going to be a touchdown. Atkins again.
That's 4.
Atkins, 4th of the day, and takes this one into the end zone, but a flag is down.
Oh, no.
And it's apparently against the Saints.
Willing is the one protesting the call, so maybe it was called against him.
55 yards. Atkins, a tired puppy out there.
They called roughing the passer. Bob McAfee, the referee, had a preliminary signal of roughing the passer, so that interception is going to be interception is going to be nullified. And Pat Swilling, number 56, is the man I think being called for it. Here he is right now. He hit him across. He hit him high, but they probably called it, Tim, because he hit him above the shoulders. It wasn't that he roughed him or tossed him down in an aggressive manner. Anytime you go above player's head, or shoulders rather, particularly a quarterback, they're going to call personal foul.
Well, the Cardinals get to keep the ball on a first down at the 35 of New Orleans. Atkins' 4th interception of the day wiped out, and a 55-yard touchdown return.
Boy, defensive back's dream. Pick off 4 and kick one in for a score. You don't get it. It's Willing being called for a penalty on a very close call, I think.
Yeah, he'll be buying the soft drinks for Atkins after this game, I think.
I guess so.
First down. Larry Centers trying to get wide to the left and can't make the turn. Good pursuit by the Saints. Mack stopping him after a gain of maybe a yard.
He couldn't make the turn because that guy right there again, number 56, Willing, coming from his outside linebacker position, came down real hard to close off any inside play, but when he saw Centers run the sweep, reversed himself and came right down the line with a great pursuit angle so that it wouldn't allow Centers to come inside. Outstanding play. Again, you see this guy do this all the time, and you know why he's in the Pro Bowl. He's just an outstanding linebacker.
Speaking of Pro Bowlers, a former Cardinal Pro Bowler, Luis Sharp, has just left the game with a minor injury of some type, and Joe Wolf, who's coming off an injury, been on injured reserve much of the season, has come in at left tackle, normally a guard. In fact, the guy they projected to be the starter at left guard this year. Gelbaugh, that's complete. Caught by Ricky Prohl, and a gain of about 8. Well, make it about a 6-yard gain. It's going to leave 3rd and 2. We're at Sun Devil Stadium, where the sun is starting to set, and the lights have been on here for some time in Tempe, Arizona. Tim Ryan and Irv Frost watching this final game at Sun Devil Stadium for this season, and the hometown Cardinals on the wrong end of that score, 27-3. There's Luis Sharp.
Luis, during the pregame warm-up, wished me a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays. So Merry Christmas to you too, Luis, and have a good day today. Well, it wasn't a very good day for him.
And there's another pickoff. Stan Petrie. So the Cardinal quarterbacks have been really victimized by this secondary. The intended receiver, Hill, no shot against close coverage from Stan Petrie. Picked up on waivers from Kansas City when they needed some help.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Toyota and their quality line of 1992 cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Braun electric shavers, Braun designed to perform better. And by Miller Lite, it's it, and that's that.
Tim Ryan and Irv Cross at Sun Devil Stadium, and there is the bench of the defensive unit of the New Orleans Saints, ranked high in virtually every category. 3 linebackers headed to the Pro Bowl, and they've had 4 interceptions here today against Cardinal quarterbacks. Hebert connects with Floyd Turner, and a gain of about 6 on the play. Chandler driven from the game after a tough hit by Swilling and the weight of another lineman on top of him. Les Miller, and an elbow bruise. He came back into the game, gave it a try, but just couldn't stay out there. Gelbaugh's been victimized since he came in. Pair of interceptions by Atkins, and a 3rd one by Atkins that was called back because of a penalty. And then Stan Petrie picking off the last one. Bobby Hebert continues at quarterback. They did have Walsh warming up a while ago, but Jim Mora is apparently electing to continue to give Hebert the work. Remember, he missed 6 weeks in a row until last Monday night's game against the Raiders.
On the other hand, Tim, there's a question. With the game obviously in hand by the Saints, why not give Walsh a little work too? Because you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs, and why take a chance to have your starting quarterback get dinged in a game that's really virtually wrapped up? As far as Moore is concerned, I guess you go ahead and go for the victory, and you play it as you would any normal football game. But I think you really have to start thinking about next week now. It's going to be Atlanta in the Dome for the playoffs, the first round, and perhaps you ought to get Walsh off the bench and get him going.
McAfee was the ball carrier, getting the first down, and then left limping. They're at the 28-yard line. There's Walsh. Still 7:45 to play here in the 4th quarter. 27-3, New Orleans lead. Play action and going deep for Turner, incomplete. Over Aeneas Williams, who had pretty good coverage. And the ball overthrown.
Next week, the Saints will be moving into the playoffs, and of course Washington has the home field advantage all the way throughout the playoffs with the record they have right now. And
how about those Lions? 12-4 season. Not too many people expected that.
well, we saw it early. We said this team has playoff potential, and by golly, they lived up to it.
Chicago plays tomorrow night against San Francisco, and New Orleans with their apparent victory here today. Dallas, Atlanta, and it all leads to there. You can see these very creative Saints fans figure that's a good day, All Saints Day, at a Super Bowl. With their Saints in it. Hilliard on second down. Nowhere. Met by Eric Swan, the big rookie.
Here's a guy, Tim, number 98, who has just loads of potential. And every time you talk to the coaching staff here, the Cardinals or any of his teammates, they say, this guy, when he learns to play, will be awesome. What they mean by that is that he never played college football, but he's always been a big, strong guy, can simply overpower people with his strength. But once he learns how to play different blocking angles and get positioned on offensive linemen, he is going to be awesome. He's shown flashes of greatness his rookie year.
Third down. Nearly 10. Hebert intended for Quinn Early. Double coverage back there, and Freddie Joe Nunn having a blitz on, and Hebert took the shot, which would lead to your consideration about why have him in there.
Yeah, I've seen so many games where the top 5 players are injured in the game, which is, you think, under control. And maybe he steps on somebody, twists an ankle, or any number of things could happen to a player. And I think it's why risk it when you know you have the game pretty well in the hand? You have an excellent backup quarterback in Steve Walsh, who could do a great job for him if he came in this situation.
Hebert, I can only assume what he's saying there to Carl Smith, just about the trajectory of the ball, and probably talking about what it feels like to be throwing it with that shoulder. Barnhart's punt. And Jackson fair catches at the 32-yard line of Phoenix. With 6:35 remaining. A big uphill climb for the Cardinals at 27-3. Lines as the Cardinals offense is taken over at the 32-yard line of Phoenix. Big game Monday night against the Raiders on his return from an injury. Today batting .500, 12-24, and you can see again just that's the trainer.
Yeah, Dean Kleinschmidt, he's the head trainer here, and they're talking football right now, I guess, rather than talking about how they're going to treat his arm. But he's just they're concerned about it, obviously. That right arm is very valuable to Hebert and the Saints.
Gelbaugh centers on a screen, and that turns into about a 4, maybe a 5-yard gain for Phoenix to the 36-yard line, where Mills and Atkins make the stop.
Well, Buffalo's favored at home field advantage throughout the playoffs in the AFC, Tim, but I would think it's Denver at 11-4 right now. They play San Diego today. They finish off with a win there, but go into momentum. I like Denver in the playoffs this year, too, instead of Buffalo going to the Super Bowl in that conference.
Houston losing to the Giants yesterday, not finishing on a good note. Dangerous team anyway. Kroll catches a pass from Gelbaugh for a gain of 3 more to the 40-yard line. It'll leave third down and long 2. Denver leading San Diego and hoping for a first-round bye. The loss by Houston yesterday gave them that opportunity today, so that's an important game for the Broncos.
Yeah, they were banged up, though, last week. I recall now when the Cardinals played them, they lost 2 or 3 key players to injury.
Yes, they did. A flag down here. Kroll again, and got maybe a yard short of the first down. Not Kroll, Centers, pardon me. Larry Centers, 37.
56, defense, 5 yards, first down.
Swilling once more. Pat Swilling called offside to jump prematurely. And he just had an all-star year for the Saints. And finishing off going into the playoffs and also going to the Pro Bowl. And had a baby boy. Boy, is he ever proud of that.
Chris Chandler hoping to compete for the starting job here next year with Tim Rosenbach. First down. Randall Hill from Gelbaugh to the 30-yard line of New Orleans. So again, these Cardinals They don't retire easily. 4:55 to go, a 25-yard gain. Mills and Mack made the tackle.
Hill, Tim, was an explosive receiver. Every time he catches the ball, he tries to get extra yardage. And some receivers are content with catching the ball and taking the yardage there, but this guy is always thinking of getting into the end zone.
And Gelbaugh to Ernie Jones. Can't hold on. That'll be second down from the 30-yard line. This game presented by authority of the National Football League, and this CBS telecast intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Phoenix Cardinals, and the National Football League, that's 3 letters, folks, is prohibited.
One of the offensive linemen for the Saints, Dombrowski, we talked to him last night about the game, what he anticipated, and this guy's one of the most consistent offensive linemen for the Saints over the years. Today, starting the 74th consecutive game. Jim Dombrowski.
Gelbaugh, and it is intercepted. Bensie Glenn this time. Not a good throw from Gelbaugh at the 7-yard line. 5 interceptions today, and not counting another one by Atkins that was overturned by a penalty.
7 turnovers overall, Tim, with 5 interceptions and a couple of fumbles. But this ball looked like it was just thrown right to Bensie Glenn. Not a good throw at all. Glenn having good position on the receiver. Look at this. I mean, that's easy. You know, Ernie Jones, the intended receiver, just didn't have a chance. He was covered well, both short and deep, by Glenn and Petrie.
So Stan Gelbaugh having a difficult afternoon, coming in relief of the injured Chris Chandler. Saints take over. Hebert continues at quarterback for New Orleans from the 7. He is 12 of 24, 100 yards. Buford Jordan, and Jordan plows his way out to the 13 for a gain of 7 on the play. Well, today's game was produced by George Ferris, directed by Richard Drake. And our associate director was Rich Gentile, and the broadcast associate John Coleman. The NFL Today, produced by Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. Senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin, and our executive producer is Ted Shaker. And we thank all of those gentlemen and the hundreds more of our entire production and technical crews for coverage of NFL football all season long as we complete the regular season here on CBS. And on to the Super Bowl. Minnesota. Second down and a long 4. Hilliard, and he swarmed under, no gain at all, maybe a loss of a yard on the play. Well, for an NFL update, let's go to Greg Gumbel. Merry Christmas, Greg and Terry.
Tim and Irv, Merry Christmas to you, too. In Philadelphia, they are playing for pride. The Redskins are in the playoffs. The Eagles are not. Jeff Kemp to a wide open Keith Jackson for 2 yards. About 11 and a half to play at the Vet in Philly. It's 19-14 Redskins. Tim?
There's no quitting the Coatites.
How do the Redskins get 19 points on that Eagle defense? They're number 1 right across the board. Of course, the Redskins are the hottest team in the league. Tim, by the way, happy holidays to you, too. And this year has just been terrific. I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's always a pleasure working with you anyway. You're such a pro, and it's just been a lot of fun. And I want to let you know that how much I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and a Merry Christmas to you and your family and all the fans looking in as we approach this Christmas week. Third down, a long 4 for the Saints as they're just trying to play out the clock here. 3:21 to go. They're going to be hosting the first-round playoff game next week against Atlanta. Hilliard again nailed by this Phoenix defense. Massey, the former Saint, a little pat on the helmet from his old teammate, or for his old teammate Hilliard.
Well, those two guys have their hands full. They're looking at number 53, Johnson, and Mills. Of course, for the Saints, 2 of those 3 All-Pro Pro Bowl linebackers going in, and boy, what a talented crew they are.
Barnhart will be punting from the end zone. Mills admitted special satisfaction for him and Vaughn Johnson coming out of the USFL. They weren't highly regarded, been overlooked in the NFL, and they've been Pro Bowlers since they got here, and they do have a special satisfaction of having to prove themselves. Jackson fields that rolling punt from Barnhart, and then is dropped at the 38-yard line. Well, there was a dance introduced by the owner of the New Orleans Saints a few years ago, and he took over the team, and that's something that the Saints fans have enjoyed and can look forward to some more of. He's not here today down on the field. The Benson Boogie.
He was a famous auto dealer from New Orleans way. He made it big in Texas selling Chevrolets. Then he bought a football team so he could realize one of his biggest dreams. He's a dancer now in the NFL, and he does the Benson Boogie on the football field. He doesn't hold a candle to Fred Astaire, but if the Saints are winning, he'll jump in the air. Then he'll boogie on the ground and hug a player or two before he falls on the ground. He's a dancer now in the NFL, and he does the Benson Boogie on the football field. Good-dat, 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 oh yeah, good-dat, oh how New Orleans loves the Benson Boogie, and pretty soon the coaches are gonna be boogieing with him. He'll want to celebrate if they go 8-8, and he does the Benson Boogie on the football field. Yes, he does the Benson Boogie on the football field.
Lots of the Benson Boogie as the playoffs begin next week. They have yet to win a playoff game, and that's the highly anticipated matchup now against the Atlanta Falcons next week in the Superdome. 27-3 here. Tim Ryan and Irv Cross winding up this ball game in the Cardinals season. And we said at the beginning of the game they do have real reason for optimism for next year. A lot of good young players, but it's been a struggle this year. And the struggle for Gelbaugh, nearly had another one picked out. Double coverage around Randall Hill, a flag down. They might get an interference call. Yeah, and they're going to.
Yeah, they're going to call interference on Vincey Glenn, but I think it's a bad call. I think it's a bad call. He went through the receiver. There was some incidental contact as he flew by, but looked like he had his hand more on the ball than anything else. But in any case, the penalty's called on him. I tell you what's going on back here. Those defensive backs are gee whiz. These passes are so easy to intercept. Let's all get fat back here. I want one. Well, and Glenn was trying to take a play on the ball and committed a foul.
Yeah, Glenn's got one. He was going for two, trying to keep pace with Atkins. Atkins with 3 on the day, tying a team record. Got a fourth call back. Gelbaugh throws that one on the money to Hill. In a hole in the defense for a first down at the 19-yard line. Make it the 24-yard line, of course, not the 19. 1:30 and counting down against these Cardinals. Gelbaugh in relief of the injured Chris Chandler. Suffered a bruised elbow back in the first half. Gave it a try on the return, but couldn't stay in there. Gelbaugh, that's complete. Ernie Jones surprised with the real estate open against this post-covering Saints team and takes it inside the 10 for another first down. Chance to remind you of our programming as we did earlier this evening. Head on CBS. If we think you finished off Saddam Hussein, think again. Another Hussein is keeping him afloat. This one's supposed to be our friend. 60 Minutes tonight. That's followed by Murder, She Wrote. And then the CBS Sunday movie Baby of the Bride, starring Ted Shackelford and Christy McNichol. All tonight after football on CBS. Cardinals at the 9-yard line now with a first and goal. Trying to get some points here in this final 1:11.
Yeah, the Saints their Saint defense had an outstanding year, Tim, and they're now, after this game, will set a new record for points scored against it. The old record was 263 points set in 1974 over a 14-game schedule. They came into this game giving up 208, and so far they've only given up 3 more, so they're going to break that record easily.
Gelbaugh overthrows the tight end, Walter Reeves. First time they've gone his way today. Saints will finish at 11-5. They had that 4-game losing streak, and sure their fans getting a little nervous about a late season collapse, but a big, impressive victory over the Raiders on Monday night, and then a cruise job here today against Phoenix.
It was funny talking to Pat Swilling about that slump. He said, the whole town of New Orleans went into a deep depression. He said he couldn't believe it. He said, we worked hard to try to work our way out of it. He said, but the whole city just sort of went into a deep depression when we went through that slump, and we're certainly glad to get out of it.
And now they can look forward to a playoff game. Gelbar in and out of the hands of centers.
Gelbar has not had an opportunity to get set on any of his passes. He's throwing everything, backing up, and moving away from the pressure of the pass rush, and just hasn't had an opportunity to set his feet.
I think that mustache might be part of the problem for Stan.
I think so. Well, here's the hallway. He's leading to the locker room there where the Saints will be headquartered. Here comes Rusty Kaczmarski, their PR director, and they'll be celebrating their first NFC championship in just a few minutes. Here's a guy who said, you stay the course. You believe in what you're doing, and you stick with it. And when he had that little downturn midway through the season, he said, I'm going to stick with my football team, what we're doing, because I know we're doing the right thing. We'll work our way out of it, and they have.
Gelbar's pass for Ernie Jones off the mark, out of bounds, and 4th down upcoming. John Jackson comes in at wide receiver. They'll have at least 3, maybe 4 in here on this final 4th down play. Field Judge Bob Wortman, we showed you him earlier. This is his final game after 27 years in the National Football League. And there is a rumor that the players might just try to give him a special tribute at the end of the game. We'll keep an eye on it. Gelbar's last gasp here, trying to find a man in the end zone, goes to the corner and overthrows Ernie Jones. And that'll be it. 50 seconds remaining as the Saints take over the football. En route home to New Orleans, where the Superdome awaits them in a playoff game against the Atlanta Falcons. The colorful Jerry Glanville team. Chris Miller's had an outstanding season at quarterback, and that'll be quite a battle. Hebert and Chris Miller next week. Inside the Saints locker room, they can truly celebrate the NFC West championship, their first ever.
Pretty quiet in there now, but you know what it's going to be like in a couple of minutes. There'll be pandemonium in that locker room. But this football team, though, Tim, is well disciplined. Coach Moore expects that from them. They're a solid football team, well coached, and they came into this game saying we're not going to be distracted by what was going on in Dallas. We know we're going to watch the scoreboard and see what happens to Atlanta, but frankly, we have to take care of business here, and everything else will take care of itself, and it certainly has.
Jim Mora hasn't given up the smile yet. There's the first one.
There he goes.
Okay. Okay, I guess we've got this one locked away here. Only 5 seconds and counting down. 27-3 victory for the New Orleans Saints, and Frank Warren must have said something to Jim Mora to get him to chuckle a little.
They're the champs. First time in Saints history they've done it. They've won the NFC Western Division Championship.
Jim Mora has his title, the New Orleans Saints, and he gets congratulations from Joe Bugle. We'll be back at 10 p.m. in a moment. Saints are the champions of the NFC West, and they head home for a playoff meeting against Atlanta. For Irv Cross, Tim Ryan saying so long from Sun Devil Stadium. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
NFC West champs, baby. The